Coming up, we're going to be talking about the NFL's first virtual draft, and Jameis Winston has a job, and I'm going to explain to you who the real winner was of Tom Brady signing to Tampa Bay. Welcome to the Q Football Review. I'm your host, Q Green. We're going to jump right into it. This weekend was the first weekend of the virtual NFL draft, and what a success it actually was. One of the biggest things I did like about the weekend was at first I thought it was going to be a little weird because they didn't have an audience and it wasn't that traditional format. But I did like the personal, intimate settings that you got to see a lot of the GMs and head coaches with their families and friends, and that intimate setting that you saw with all the players being surrounded by their families. So that was a very good and unique aspect. So a lot of fun to watch. But can we talk about one quick second about Roger Goodell? When the draft started, Roger Goodell, he had a nice pristine suit on. He was looking fly. He was looking like for draft business. All right. He went completely Mr. Rogers on. By like the end of the day, he had like a sweater on, and his feet was kicked back like Roger Goodell. By the end of the day too, he was tired. His feet was kicked back. He's like, I'm so tired. I am so tired. So Roger Goodell, literally, there was like day one, and then there was day two. In all fairness, typically Roger Goodell only calls. He does like the first round because he meets all the players, and he does round two on day two. And round three, he's like done for like the rest of the draft. So he had to do like a whole extra round of name calling. So he was tired by the end of day two. So, but overall, the draft I thought was really a lot of fun to watch. It was really good. So, but there were a couple. Let's get into the actual draft itself. So, first of all, the SEC is still the conference to go to. Once again, the SEC had the most NFL draft players with 63 players combined. And actually, there were 41 players out of the first 106 picks that came from the SEC conference. And when you really think about it, of all the colleges out there, there's only 14 teams that make up the Southeastern Conference. And so when you really think about that, that is really huge. So the SEC is still having a huge impact. But the curious pick that everybody's really kind of been questioning is Green Bay Packers ended up picking up Jordan Love towards the end of the first round, which I find it was an interesting pick in a sense that a lot of people are like, oh, well, he's drafting the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers really needs a lot of help on that offensive side of the ball, considering they did lose an offensive lineman in free agency, and also they really didn't have any top flight wide receivers. So the fact that the Packers ended up going up with a quarterback when there was plenty of offensive weapons that were still on the board, and at the time a tight end hasn't even been chosen yet, so it was a really interesting pick. And a lot of people are comparing this to, oh well, the Packers did the same thing when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Like, whoa, no, this is not even remotely the same situation. When Aaron Rodgers entered into the NFL draft, he was considered the top quarterback of his draft class. Easily, if not there was a debate between Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers, so number one and number two. And many people thought Aaron Rodgers was going to go number one overall. When he didn't go overall, he ended up tumbling all the way down to the Packers. So here's a guy that the Packers had to pick up because he was such a good quarterback in a high prospect draft coming into the draft. Jordan Love wasn't even considered a top 5 quarterback. Like, Jordan Love was considered a first round, second round grade at best, maybe going at the second round. A lot of people had him going in the second round. There's some people that had him going towards the tail end of the first round. So Jordan Love is didn't have that same type of hype coming into the draft, but I still find it very interesting how that's going to play out. Another team that's actually showing me some promise is the fact that the Carolina Panthers, I find it very interesting that the Carolina Panthers, they are serious about the defense. This is the first time in the draft where we had a 7-round draft where a team has had at least 7 picks or as many picks as the Carolina has. They literally went all in on the defensive side of the ball. Like, Carolina had a very porous defense last year, and the GM and the head coach, new GM and head coach, said we're going to make a point to fix this defense. So if you are a defensive player for the Carolina Panthers, you've been put on notice because your job's in jeopardy. When you draft 7 players on the defensive side of the ball, that's not good if you got a job in Carolina right now. So I can understand drafting a few here, a few there, but it's all been defense the entire draft. They stuck to their plan. They said, we're going to fix this defense, and they literally did. Every draft pick was all defensive players. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. Jameis Winston has a job. Jameis Winston is actually getting signed by the New Orleans Saints, assuming to be the backup quarterback. And to me, I love this signing. This is a very good signing for Jameis Winston. He's going into a very good situation. First of all, you're getting signed and you're sitting behind one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, Drew Brees. I mean, listen. So there's a good chance he actually has a chance to sit back and he can learn. And Jameis Winston, yes, everyone's talking about he threw 30 touchdowns. He threw over 30 touchdowns. But also, he threw over 30 interceptions. That's crazy. So he threw over 30 interceptions. And if you are a quarterback, you never want your touchdown to interception ratio to be 1-to-1. You don't want as many touchdowns as many interceptions. If anything, if you throw over 10 interceptions in a year, that's considered bad. And that puts a lot of stress on your defense every time you turn that ball over. It's like, yeah, he scored a touchdown. That means you're playing from behind and you're giving your opponent that many more possessions. So maybe him sitting behind Drew Brees, because Drew Brees is a very good quarterback, and maybe sitting behind Jameis Winston, he can learn a few things from there. Also, Drew Brees has been hurt the last 2 seasons, so Jameis Winston is literally just 1 game away of becoming a starter again. And then, if anybody has that support, is the New Orleans Saints. Because when you hear about the Saints, you don't hear too much coming out of New Orleans. Like, most of the Saints players are on their P's and Q's. Sean Payton does not play. And I think Drew Brees isn't going to play around either. So there's going to be, I know Jameis Winston has had a lot of off the field issues here and there. And I think with Sean Payton, that no nonsense and the discipline that Saint organization carries, I think it's going to be a good structure. So yeah, we had outside of a few things here and there, you rarely hear about Saints players getting into trouble. So I think this is going to be a good fit for Jameis Winston. He really needed this. And you get to study behind Drew Brees. So if any team that he was going to go to, this is kind of the nice team to go in and hit the reset button. Look what wonders it did for Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater was a substitute behind Drew Brees, learned from that Saints offense. He took off, and now he's got a starting opportunity elsewhere. So I'm thinking Jameis Winston and his company are probably thinking the same thing. Let's hit that reset button, go in Saints, learn what we need to learn, and take off. As we all know, towards the end, at the beginning of free agency, Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And everybody talking about who the real winners of the Tom Brady signing with Tampa Bay. And I'm going to tell you who the real winners are. It's not Tampa Bay. And it's not Bill Belichick or Tom Brady. It's the rest of the AFC East. Listen, the rest of the East. And I'm sure if we weren't having this coronavirus, all the other AFC East fans would be getting together and throwing a block party. I'm telling you, every AFC East fan is celebrating. I'm going to tell you why. Because we have, as a football game, you have to marvel and be amazed at what the Patriots have done over the last several years. So let's take this into account. Since 2003, the New England Patriots only lost their division title, having the best record in the division one time, and that's in 2008. So they had 5 straight divisional titles from 2003 to 2007, and they lost the divisional title one time in 2008 with an 11-5 record. They ended up losing the tiebreaker, so they didn't go to the playoffs that year. That's crazy. You didn't go to the playoffs with an 11-5 record, and ever since then, the New England Patriots have won the divisional title. So you can understand why the AFC East Patriots, the AFC East fans are like, I'm so glad Tom Brady's gone. Yep, thank you. Like, listen, they're gonna be sending postcards. They're gonna be sending postcards over. They're gonna be sending postcards over to Tampa Bay. They'll be sending postcards over to say, hey, thank you guys for not re-signing Tom Brady this year. So you can understand why the rest of the AFC East is looking like, whew, thank goodness. Well, from a Marvel aspect, that's truly domination in your division. There's no other team that has dominated their division in like the last 20 years like the New England Patriots has. So that just shows you the amount of success that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady has had. And we likely won't see this type of success anytime soon. Well, that does it for me. I know we're supposed to do Uplift Fan Friday. We actually moved that to next week. So next week we're going to actually have an Uplift Fan Friday. But thank you for tuning in to the Q Football Review. Please like and subscribe if you like this content, or if you have any ideas of new content. Much be appreciated. Until then, I will catch you guys.